Angel Reese has taken over headlines for the past 2 years now. And if you've heard her name, you probably are well aware of the fact that she isn't the most loved athlete in the world. In fact, she may just have more haters than fans at this point. And the hate she receives is coming from every angle. It feels like no matter what Angel Reese does, she will have critics coming from her throat, for her throat. Now, women have always had a tough time being accepted in a male dominated space, especially one like sports. And Angel Reese is a perfect example of this. So, in order to explain why Angel Reese is the most hated person in sports, well, I'll be focusing on three main points. First off, her on the court playstyle. Secondly, Angel Reese's personality. And thirdly, the fact that, well, Angel Reese is a black woman who is successful. Now, I will start this off by talking about Angel Reese's playstyle and that it can be a bit boring to watch at times. She doesn't dunk on people like a Shaquille O'Neal or drive right through them like a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Instead, what Angel Reese will do is get right under the basket, throw a shot up, miss, grab the rebound, and that cycle will repeat itself until Angel Reese either scores a point or until that ball goes out of her reach. And when you're watching it live, it can get a bit repetitive and boring. And here's a visual aid exactly describing, showing what I'm talking about. That is Angel Reese in the black, grabbing a rebound over her opponents, which she tends to do often. And people don't only have an issue with her playstyle being boring, but she's also been known to stat pad a little bit. There were reports recently that in a game with the time expiring and her team being down by double digits, Angel Reese is seen begging for the ball. And at that point, you're not trying to win, you're just trying to boost your numbers. And there's some stats provided by ESPN that state Angel Reese is averaging 13.5 points per game, she's got 12 rebounds, and she's shooting 40% from the field. And if you're not familiar with basketball, shooting 40% from the field when most of your shots come from about 5 feet away is a pretty outrageous and bad thing. And now that we've talked about Angel Reese's on the court playstyle, let's move on to her personality, which can be quite loud at times. You see, Angel Reese rides the line between confidence and cockiness, and people hate arrogant athletes, especially women, which is why in this interaction Angel Reese had with Caitlin Clark, where she was seen taunting her, it didn't work out well for Angel Reese. I mean, according to Michael Delgado of Talon Marks, there were millions around the world who saw Angel Reese taunt Clark mid-game and now despise her for it. In fact, that hate has carried on for years. And it's not only the fact that Angel Reese can be arrogant at times, but also she will clap back at her critics. You see, there was a time, maybe towards the beginning of her senior season at LSU, where Angel Reese was being benched, and it was rumored that it was because of her low grades. And then her teammate's mom comes out and criticizes her publicly, saying that she needs to get her grades up and that she doesn't deserve a spot on the team. And of course, when Angel Reese graduated, she had something to say. She tweeted saying that she's graduated from Louisiana State University in 4 years on time. I thought somebody without a college degree had something to say. And that is her directly responding to her critics, all right? That's just part of her personality. And now that we've talked about Angel Reese's personality, let's move on to the fact that she is a successful black woman in sports. People don't really like to see women succeed. And of course, she's going to receive her fair share of sexism, especially by sports media of all people. Sports media, there were reports by Frankie Della Crotaz of CNN where sports media was criticizing Angel Reese for not playing nice. When has a man ever been criticized in the sports world for not being nice in the game? It is ridiculous. You see, women are often seen as the softer, kinder sex, so they expect Angel Reese to play nice, and that's totally dumbfounded. I don't get why they would expect that of her. Bit sexist if you ask me, and that's not the only time. When Angel Reese receives hate online, sometimes she is sexualized to a degree that makes her feel uncomfortable, something that most male athletes don't have to deal with. But you have to remember, not only is Angel Reese a woman in sports, she is a black woman in sports, which means, of course, Angel Reese is going to get her fair share of racist remarks towards her. I mean, there's this one time where Angel Reese went toe to toe with Caitlin Clark, and let me bring up my second visual aid, in fact. On one side, we have Angel Reese, doing her thing, taunting people, and I mean, more specifically, she is taunting Caitlin Clark. What did the media have to say about this? They said that Angel Reese was acting classless, right? She was being disrespectful, acting classless. And it's like, okay, you could make that argument. However, when Caitlin Clark was doing the exact same motion to another player in the exact same manner, what did the sports media have to say about it then? Well, they wrote that Caitlin Clark was being competitive, right? She was just being a competitive little girl, a competitive girl. That's what they said about her. But as you can see in this visual aid, side-by-side comparison, when a black woman does it, it's classless. When a white woman does it, it's competitive. That is the narrative they try to spin. And if that's not racism, I don't know what is. And now that we've talked about Angel Reese, being a black woman who is successful, let's move on to the double-sided appeal. What some people would counter this with. And they would say that, well, Angel Reese has a massive fan base. Her name is growing and starting to be known worldwide. In fact, her fan base even has a nickname for themselves. They call themselves the Reese's Pieces. It's adorable and all. However, my counter to this would be that Angel Reese's fans are heavily outnumbered by the amount of haters she has. According to Alex Hogler, a staff writer from Microsoft Start, Angel Reese ranks first in the most hated players in the WNBA. And there are statistics that back this up. You see, there are over 200,000 tweets that include the word hate and Angel Reese in the same sentence, and that doubles the second nearest person, right? And that number is continuing to grow. She receives a ridiculous amount of hate online by not only fans, but people who have very big followings in the sports world, okay? Now, overall, Angel Reese continues to be the most hated person in sports, whether it's because fans and media don't like her playstyle or her personality, or maybe it's the simple fact that she is a black woman who is successful. So, I would tell you that the next time you're watching an Angel Reese game, you just remember how much she has to endure on a day-to-day basis and how she continues to thrive and dominate in the league with the world against her. No one really on her side, and yet Angel Reese perseveres through it all. Through all of the negativity, she has her head held up high at the end of the day.